Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to click subscribe to help the channel, and if you don't want to miss more weekly sci-fi videos.
The chamber was filled with the galaxy's most powerful species. Towering insectoids clicked their mandibles in irritation. The scaled warlords of the Drakvar shifted uncomfortably in their seats. The luminous, ethereal forms of the Veil Shear pulsed with irritation. At the head of the table, the Supreme Chancellor of the Galactic Council, a seven-eyed being named Jolan, addressed the assembly. The last uncontacted world in this sector is the primitive planet designated as Earth. His voice resonated through the chamber. Our scouting fleets have observed them for centuries, and it is time we bring them into the fold. A murmuring spread through the assembly. Earth was an anomaly. Despite being technologically primitive, the species known as humans had an unnatural resilience. They had survived cataclysms, waged wars that should have obliterated them, and yet continued to thrive. No empire had directly intervened, fearing it would be wasted effort. Jolan raised a hand. A fleet will be dispatched. We will uplift them, guide them, and integrate them. Their ignorance must end. If they resist, we will ensure compliance by any means necessary. The decision was made. The fleet departed. The fleet entered orbit, a shimmering armada of vessels from 100 worlds. The human planet looked unremarkable. Oceans, continents, primitive cities lighting the dark side of the globe. The lead commander, Admiral Torkesh of the Drakvar Dominion, grinned at the ease of this mission. "Begin standard contact protocols," he ordered. "They will soon kneel before their betters." But as the transmission was sent, something strange happened. The communication signals bounced back, scrambled. Every attempt at transmission was met with silence, then interference. The humans weren't responding, they were ignoring them. Torkesh growled. "Deploy ground teams. We'll speak to them face to face." Moments later, tactical officers reported further anomalies. The fleet's long-range sensors started failing, their scans returning outdated data that contradicted their own observations. A growing sense of unease settled over the command deck as navigational systems began subtly shifting, as if external forces were subtly rewriting their star maps. One of Torkesh's lieutenants hesitated before reporting, "Admiral, we are detecting something. There are structures on the planet's surface that do not match known human technology. They appear to be cloaked in an energy field we cannot penetrate." Torkesh narrowed his eyes. "A deception? Are they hiding their true nature? That would be impossible. Unless..." Before he could finish, alarms blared across the bridge. The fleet's flagship trembled as an invisible force seemed to press against its hull. Static crackled over the communication lines, and then a single message came through, delivered in flawless Drakvar dialect. "You were warned. Turn back. This is your only chance." The message contained no origin point, no signature, just an untraceable, chilling warning. The fleet had expected submission, but instead, it had encountered something far more dangerous, an unknown force manipulating them from the shadows. Scene: Earth, United Nations. Headquarters. The alien delegation, flanked by armored warriors, stepped into the Human Council chamber. The Secretary General of the United Nations, a composed woman named Eleanor Vasquez, greeted them with polite indifference. Torkesh, towering over her, spoke. "Your species has been chosen for enlightenment. You will join the Galactic Council. We will teach you what you need to know." Vasquez arched an eyebrow. "And if we refuse?" Torkesh smirked. "You will not refuse." There was silence. Then Vasquez chuckled, a low, knowing sound. "I see." She gestured to a screen behind her, displaying live footage from the orbiting fleet. The aliens turned. The feed showed their mighty warships, surrounded by shadowy angular vessels that had appeared from nowhere. The human fleet. "We have always been watching," Vasquez said, her voice eerily calm. "We let you think we were primitive. We allowed you to observe. But you never saw our real strength." Torkesh's mandibles clicked in confusion. "Impossible. You have no interstellar travel, no military presence beyond your own moon. Vasquez smirked. That's what you were supposed to believe. In an instant, the human fleet disabled the alien armada. Not with weapons, but with pure technological superiority. Communications collapsed. Engines failed. Shields fell offline. The mighty galactic empire was powerless before them. Aboard the flagship, Admiral Torkish's horror grew as his ship's systems locked down. The controls were unresponsive, artificial gravity fluctuated, and screens displayed nothing but static. His warriors shouted in panic, their natural aggression useless against an enemy they could not see nor fight. In the council chamber, Vasquez leaned forward. You see, Admiral, we learned long ago that power invites fear. Fear invites war. And war invites extinction. So we hid. We let you believe we were helpless. Torkesh's voice wavered. Then why reveal yourselves now? Vasquez's expression darkened. Because your kind made a critical mistake. You came here thinking you were the apex predators, but you are not. You never were. You were simply the latest species to fall into our illusion of control. She gestured again to the display behind her. New images filled the screen. Hidden human megastructures in deep space. Vast fleets that had remained unseen for centuries. Entire colonies beyond the galactic maps. Because, Vasquez continued, her voice ice-cold, you assumed too much. And we needed to remind the galaxy who truly rules the stars. Scene. Galactic Council in Chaos, the transmission from Earth, played before the entire Galactic Council. The mighty empires, the ancient civilizations, all watched in horror as humans dismantled an entire invasion fleet without firing a single shot. Jolan the Supreme, Chancellor, sat in stunned silence, his 7 eyes darting across the room, searching for any sign of comprehension from his peers. The warlords of the Drakvar, the ethereal Veilshir, the countless species who had once ruled unchecked, now they all sat in collective shock, their arrogance shattered in an instant. Murmurs rippled through the assembly, fear creeping into the voices of those who had long believed themselves superior. Some called for immediate retaliation, their desperation betraying the knowledge that any such attempt would be futile. Others, the wiser ones, remained silent, knowing they had vastly underestimated the human race. A single sentence lingered on the broadcast. Vasquez's final words, "The apex has awoken." A long pause followed, before Jolan finally spoke, his voice uncharacteristically unsteady. What have we done? Far beyond the solar system in the deep void of space, hidden human colonies flourished. Massive megastructures orbited distant stars, unseen by the galaxy. It was here in the halls of the true human leadership that the decision had been made to end the deception. A meeting of shadowy figures gathered in a circular chamber, their identities obscured even from one another. A voice spoke from the darkness. The galactic empires have become complacent. Their arrogance has grown. It is time they learn the truth. Another voice replied, "But is the time right? If we step into the light, there is no going back." A pause. Then the first voice answered. The time was right the moment they sent their fleet to uplift us. Deep within an ancient vault on Mars, hidden from all but the highest ranks of the human elite, lay the records of a history long forgot. Humanity had not been primitive when the galactic empires first rose. In fact, they had been the first empire, the oldest, the mightiest. But they had vanished from the galactic stage, leaving only fragmented legends behind. Some said they had gone extinct. Others whispered that they had destroyed themselves in a war of unimaginable scale. The truth? They had chosen to disappear. By erasing their presence and faking their own downfall, they had ensured that no species would ever see them as a threat, until they were ready. As news of news, Earth's revelation spread. Panic gripped the galactic civilizations. Some called for war. Others pleaded for diplomacy. On Earth, Vasquez recorded a final message to the Galactic Council. You thought us weak. You thought us primitive. But you never asked the most important question. What happens when the most advanced species in the galaxy decides to stop pretending? A pause. A final, chilling statement. Now you will find out. The galaxy stood at the edge of a new era. Humanity, the great deceiver, had returned. And this time, they would not hide. War or peace, conquest or cooperation, the choice was no longer the galaxy's to make. It was humanity's. For millennia, humanity had hidden in the shadows, pretending to be weak. But in truth, they had always been the galaxy's greatest power. And now, the secret was out. The apex had awoken.